Wisdom Shorts.
If you want knowledge, you must take part in the practice of changing reality. If you want to know the taste of a pear, you must change the pear by eating it yourself. Mao Zedong. In 1925, young Mao Zedong stood in a rural village classroom in Hunan province, facing a group of skeptical peasant farmers who had never learned to read. The village elders surrounded him, their voices filled with doubt. "Teacher Mao," said the village chief, "these farmers are too old, too set in their ways. They cannot learn." Mao looked around the room at the weathered faces of men and women who had worked the land for generations, but remained trapped in poverty. His assistant, a young intellectual from Beijing, whispered nervously, "Comrade Mao, perhaps we should start with theory. Teach them about economics and politics first." Mao walked slowly to a simple wooden table where farming tools lay scattered. Without a word, Mao picked up a handful of rice seeds from a bowl. The farmers, full of curiosity, gathered closer. "Tell me," he said gently, "how do you know if rice is good for planting?" "You plant it and see if it grows," replied an old farmer, confused by the simple question. Suddenly and without warning, Mao scattered the seeds across the classroom floor, then knelt down and began examining each one carefully. The farmers gasped as this educated man from the city got his hands dirty, studying their seeds with the intensity of a scholar. "Exactly," Mao exclaimed, his eyes lighting up with discovery. "You don't read about rice in books. You plant it, tend it, harvest it." The room fell silent as the farmers began to understand. "But teacher," the village chief asked, "what does this have to do with learning to read?" Mao stood up, seeds still in his palm, his face showing the wisdom that would transform a nation. "Tell me," he said, "how do you learn to farm? By reading about it or by doing it?" "By doing it, of course," they replied, beginning to see his point. Mao nodded with that patient smile that would inspire millions. "When you understand that knowledge comes not from books but from practice," he declared, "when you realize that to know the taste of a pear you must eat it yourself, then you discover that the best way to learn anything, even reading, is by doing it, not just thinking about it." That day, Mao began teaching literacy through practical farming problems and village management. Within months, those unteachable farmers were reading, writing, and organizing their own cooperatives. True learning comes not from theory alone, but from rolling up your sleeves and engaging with reality. When we stop just thinking about change and start practicing it, we discover that the best teacher is experience and the best classroom is the real world.